What is up, guys? You got Not the Worst here, bringing another Black Desert Online video, 20-hour grind, except this one's not quite 20 hours, but a silver breakdown nonetheless. And we are revisiting the Blood Wolf settlement for this video. The difference is now we're going to be running a straight elite rotation instead of just grinding the mobs and only killing certain elites when they are up. Reason for this is the loot table was changed just a little bit. Wanted to kind of check it out and see what we could do specifically with a elite only rotation, similar to what we did with the revisited Kadri video with the elite rotation, and got some pretty good results from it. But first, let's take a look at the item drops and then what's changed here recently since the last time we covered this quite a few months ago now. Here we go. So first thing, we've got these two guys here, Seirvik Klari and Barris Florang. These items pretty much don't sell by themselves at all, but you can melt them down and sell them individually. That way you get like copper from it, tin, and a couple other things, iron crystal and that sort of stuff, that which will sell by itself pretty quickly, other than I think the platinum crystal I think doesn't sell very quickly, but the other items all sell quite a bit fast compared to other items, and so melting them down you'll get an extra million or so per hour for doing that. The big reason for this was after the release of Manos, we see that we can actually get the Manos Craftsman clothes to drop in this area. That would fetch a pretty penny. If you don't have yours already, you could also acquire them this way, although it's somewhat lengthy than making them yourself, but this is a pretty cool drop to get added. Then other than that, of course, we still have the Akum armor. This can also drop enhanced, which is pretty valuable. If these two guys drop enhanced, you just extract them for the extra black stones, which you'll see when we get to the spreadsheets. Of course, we got our Ruins ring and the Cagtum ring as well. Hum and Gervish for crystal drops here. Garmas scales, which now sell. These have been selling right around 1.5, 1.6 million. At the lowest, I think they were going 1.2, so that's what I put them in at 1.2. These didn't sell for a long time until recently, now that people are actually using them again, so that's been pretty handy. And the Cag Tunic, which turns into Red Fang crystals, which sell for about 35 mil each. Whether you go with the armor or valor is up to you. They seem to sell right around the same price either way. So with those covered here, I'm going to show you, as we just arrived here, this is where I like to park my horse. Right here, he's nice and safe. There'll be maybe a mob or two that follows me over here that we'll clear out. And let me just grab my pets, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the elite rotations. There's two kind of sides, if you will, to Blood Wolves. The good side being that way and the trash side being that way. But there are some elites on the trash side, so we definitely are going to go through that to at least check on the elites first, and then we'll spend our time while we're on server cooldown at the good side. Now this was also edited with double spawn rate permanently for Blood Wolves, so you could actually have functionally two people grinding the good side area here. However, I will tell you, this place does get kind of busy, especially during higher play times, later in the evening, depending on where you play and what time it is for there. It does get a bit busier, and it seems nobody ever wants to share, so it's a little bit hostile there. You will see a bit of PvP compared to most other grind zones that I've seen in this area. For this setup, I am running on my Lawn 265 Kudum in the Awakening hand. Don't really care too much about pre-awakening for Lawn. We do have level 10 node for this zone. Comma Blessing was used at all times. Tier 4 pets, although we're mostly focusing on the elites, so that part's only going to help for the downtime in between server swapping. And of course, my knowledge is still at 10% because I hate knowledge grinding. So there's that. All right, let's head over and check on the elites. What you're going to use most of the time for this, unlike the Kadri video since you run through them, is you want to check your mini map to save you a lot of time going around. I'm going to walk to each spawn so you can actually see it, but if you check your minimap, you'll see the elite symbols. You don't actually have to walk up and check, but there'll be a spawn for him right on that platform there is the first one, and then we'll zip on down to the second one here. When you're going between mobs, when I was grinding here, I typically did just kill mobs in between on the pathway because it's like I'm kind of going past them and you can one-shot the packs at that AP level anyhow. But that's up to you if you want to just speed up to each of the elites at first when you see them, go through the whole elite rotation, and then worry about grinding mobs only after that. Totally up to you. Your trash loot will probably come out a little bit lower that way, but it's not a huge impact. It's a 1400, a little bit over 1400 is the drop rate. Or excuse me, the trash loot price for these guys. And the other thing, you can see how much more easily these are killed than the Kadri elites were. And also, with those being killed that easy, you can see that guy, all he did was drop us 30 of the trash loot on there. Here's the next spawn for this one. I'm not going to kill each of them, just kind of want to show you how easy they were to kill. And their loot table is much worse overall than like a Kadri elite is. Kadri elites, you almost always see Ancient Spirit Dust dropping from those guys and Rosar weapons. These guys can drop nothing. It's obviously better than the normal mobs, but their difficulty level is in comparison to what they actually drop out of their loot table. So we got this guy on that platform here, this one right here. So far this server would have been pretty good to run through if we weren't doing a guide right now, because we've got a lot of elites up and then a few over in this corner. And then we'll get out of the trash zone area. So we got this guy, which is also up right there. And again, you can just be checking the mini map for the symbol. So if you don't see that elite symbol, there's no point in running all the way into the corner there. One more here, and the last one on this side is going to be right here, which he's also up. Yeah, so let's zip on down to the other side, and I'll go through the good side, where you're going to want to grind while you're on server cooldown for these mobs. And we're going to cheat using lawn and just glide straight down, so we will get there much, much faster. Like I said, we haven't seen anyone here, and I'm recording this at pretty busy hours, so that's kind of surprising, but yeah. Usually there's people out this way. We can see 2 elites right here, but I want to run back to the stairs real quick just so that way you get a good feel if you're not familiar with this area of where they're positioned. So we'll come back to those 2 elites there. So there's the stairs. My horse is right up there. You can see where we came from. So if you're headed down this way, you've got your first elite here. And then I go off to the left. You could obviously do this in reverse. It's a giant circle, so that's up to you. We get one spawn behind the little wolves right here. And then another spawn right behind these little wolves. I'm definitely killing all these guys right after this video is up. They're all up right now. One more spawn right behind this group there. And then we go up and around here. You definitely want to check your minimap. You can see he's up on our right-hand side. But if you don't check the minimap, trying to visually check that one is definitely going to be out of your way because you have to cut off to the right here. So you see he's right up there. So make sure you're definitely using the minimap for that spot. One more behind the little wolves right here. And then we're going to loop down using our lawn powers right over here. And that one is up as well. And then we'll head back over to the 2 we saw where I dashed down to earlier to complete the circle. One there. And then one right over here as well. So that's the elite rotation. Again, you can either kill the mobs on the way to each of the spots to check on the elites, or just kill them all first, speed up to each elite spawn location first, then once you've cleared that server area, just kill the mobs until you have the cooldown up. Now, I did do this with a loot scroll. The reason for that, I would have done that with the Kadri video, but the Kadri drops so many Rosar weapons, it becomes kind of obnoxious dealing with those over time, and I kind of wanted a baseline for it. Here, I needed to make decent money at the same time. You'll see in the spreadsheets it is pretty damn good money overall, but I definitely wanted to use loot scrolls for this, especially since we had a loot scroll event going on, to at least not waste my time entirely in case it came out to be pretty bad when I was testing this zone. So with all that said, let me go ahead and get the grind sheets pulled up. I'm going to stop the video and probably go kill all of those elites that were just up, and then grab the grind sheets and finish recording this for you guys. Okay, got those elites taken care of. So let's take a look at how we did. So I had 12 hours of this. Again, this is with loot scroll. Overall, we averaged at 121 mil across the 12 hours for it, and that is with a peak hour of 166, 168, and then a couple of very close ones at 166 and 164, and then the worst one actually being the very last hour we did at 79 mil here. So a couple things to note from it. Let's look at Garmos scales. These obviously have gone up. Oh, we didn't edit that. Let's change that. I ended up doing 2 more hours before the last time I almost recorded this. Garmos scales, we came out at about 2 per hour average, right around there, and these being increased in price definitely helped drive up the overall money per hour at this spot. Dragon scales also sell very, very quickly in this area now, so those are pretty nice, especially when you're averaging 20 per hour. This was a little weird. I just had one random hour when I only got 13. RNG is RNG, I guess, but everything else was over 20, which was really nice. Whom I only got 2 in the 12 hours that were there. These are now down to about 40 mil or so, maybe a little bit more. You can potentially make more money with a whom if you are playing the market appropriately to turn it into a Han whom, but you gotta kind of pay attention to the trends and stuff that are going on there. If you're too lazy for that, you can put them in at whatever the max price listing is, and they'll sell fairly quickly. Caphras are averaging almost 7 per hour here. Dust right on the nose at 23. Blackstone's almost 18 per hour here. This also includes, you can see I had 60 in 1 hour there. This was just from the bonus ones, like every once in a while you get an enhanced of the green weapons that drop, the shy weapons, and extracting the Blackstones. I just happen to have a pretty high enhanced one here that dropped for a decent amount of Blackstones, or extracted rather, I should say. Trash came a little bit under 10k. Obviously, if you weren't just focusing on elites and channel swapping elites each time, you would have some higher numbers from this, but most of this only gets generated when you're on cooldown from channel swapping to try another round of elites. Had 3 Gervish crystals. These ones, to note, they do not sell very quickly at all. I think I still have 2 of these 3 listed right now at minimum price, along with the other couple hundred that are listed. They do eventually sell. I think the first one I listed sold in like a day or 2. But they take a lot of time, so these are kind of meh. They're min priced at 5.5 mil, and it'll take a long time to actually get that money since they don't sell very long. Eye rings, these were, I was only getting 1. Obviously they will sell. They've recently taken a hit in the marketplace price with some of the events that are going on. They usually sit around the 55, 60, and even dip sometimes up to 70 mil, but right now they've been sitting around 50-ish. Yes, I think I had them in at 55 there. Now these Cactum rings, this is the blue ring, not the Ruins ring. These drop pretty frequently from the elites in general, especially with a loot scroll on. You can see that I noted this one here being 38, and the reason for that is I had to factor in the price. I actually got a duo drop, and then here I got one single pry drop. So I put in, you can see I put 3 because the price of a single one is worth 3 base rings. A pry ring is worth 3 base rings, so I just put it in that way so that the math comes out correctly for what the amount was. The rings at base level do not sell very quickly at all. Eventually they will. My recommendation, if you're going to do this, is hang on to them and just smash them at low stacks for like duo and then sell them. When I did get the duo drop, it sold pretty quickly for like 54 million or 57 million, something like that, within an hour or so. And yeah, a lot of the other ones I just ended up smashing together, and I did make a couple more duos out of that. So actually the money ended up coming up better, but there's RNG involved there, so we're just going to calculate these at what their base price is for now. But again, they're not going to sell very quickly. Same thing with Akum armor. We can see one of the nice 147 mil hour here. I had a plus 14 Akum armor sell, which was close to 60 mil, if I remember correctly. A plus 9 and a plus 4 there was a little bit of boost for those. And then other than that, our money generators were just the Whom drop along with everything else that goes, Kafris and whatnot. And then our other 160 hour, this one came from, was that the Ruins ring drop? Nope. Gervish, Whom, just a lot of Akum armor, it looks like. Decent hour across the board there. So yeah, that's how it comes down. Obviously, loot scrolls are used, so that's definitely going to impact this thing, but this place is definitely worth making money. Entry level for AP for this is probably in the low 200s with a Kudum. You can probably do it at 200 try Kudum, but that's maybe pushing it. I don't know how fast your clear speeds are. If you are just focusing on the elites, the elite rotation rather than just grinding the area, it's not too bad a spot since you're not so worried about how fast you're clearing the packs there. And also, if you have lower grade pets, an elite rotation, whether it's here or Kadri, is not a bad choice to go for anyway, so you don't have to worry about having your money hindered by how fast your pets loot, since obviously it takes longer to kill the elites anyhow. So that is it for this one. Let me know what you guys think about this spot in the comments if you've tried it out. The elite rotation, that is. I'll link to the previous video just covering a regular rotation if you haven't seen that one and want to check it out. And actually, I always have a link to the playlist with all of the silver breakdowns if you want to catch any of the other videos. That'll be in the description below. Be sure to like the video, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you get notifications when new videos and stuff like this come out, as I try to push them out as quickly as possible whenever I can. And if you want to catch the live stream, the link to that is also in the description below. So be sure to check that out. Drop a follow over there if you want to see any live streams. With that said, that is going to be it for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I will see you next time.